weekend. So I encourage you to spend time with your family and just, reflect on what the 4th of July means to so many people who has lost their life in order for us to have freedom in this country. I'm so excited to be in studio with my great friend, my co-host. That's what I said it. My co-host, my partner in crime, Miss Shuvona Spann. How are you doing, Miss Lady?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I am so excited to be here today.
So am I.
Just wanted to start off because it's been a while since we've been away and been working on some projects, trying to get things up and moving. And today I wanted to talk about purpose. As what, we're talking about, what are our purpose in life, as we go through this journey. Sometimes we get so caught up into a everyday life. When I think about what happened to me this past week, I had an accident on Tuesday, and it could have, I could have not have been here today. But I think about what God has when you stand still, when things happen, and I had some downtime to be prepared for today. I think it's so exciting about having purpose in your life.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm you are definitely a woman of purpose. And I say that because like you said, we've been away for a while, working on quite a few. Well, you've been working on quite a few projects, and I've been tagging along. But when you realize what your purpose is in life, everything seems much more clear. It's almost like a light bulb that goes off, and I'm always honored to be here on the show with you, and I just wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit, actually.
Wow.
So I'm glad I'm here today. And we're talking about purpose, and one is if you had to describe what your purpose is, maybe in one or two words or a sentence. I mean, what would you say your purpose is, Vonnie? I mean, you wear so many hats. You're a mom, you're a wife, you have 3 businesses and a nonprofit. What would be your purpose?
It's, it's been a while, it took me a while to decide, to discover really what is my
Wow.
purpose. Because a lot of times, like you said, I'm doing so many different things,
Mm-hmm.
but really they all comes down to one sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, I'm a builder. And
Mm.
I really feel that I'm a builder of people.
Wow.
And I encourage people all the time with whether they're youth, whether they're women, whether their husband that comes into my financial camps and they're like, my wife did this and then she took the credit card. And I'm like, wait. and I'm truly a supporter of the community. I mean, I really build people within the community. I really feel my hands has to be somewhere tied to some kind of community outreach. And also, I feel that I am a builder of businesses. It is important to me that we all have I feel like we all are designed to have our own business. Whether your business is taking care of your home and you're that homemaker,
Yeah.
whether you're that, whether you are out there and you're that nonprofit, whether you're that community leader, whether or not you're a servant in the church,
Right.
we all have a job to do.
Mm.
And so to me, I think that is my purpose, is to help people to get to that full potential of
Wow.
whatever God has for them.
That's awesome. That's very powerful because most people, I feel when you ask them, I can speak for myself. When people say, "Well, Shuvona, what do you do?" I get stumbled. I'm stumbled because, like you, I do a lot. But to be able to articulate it in one word, I mean, you didn't hesitate. You said, "I'm a builder. I'm a builder of people. I'm a builder of the community. I'm a builder of businesses, nonprofits." And when someone can actually pinpoint what they do, what their purpose is in life, that's when they've reached a certain level of success, because things start to be more clear. Most people are frustrated because they have so many things they want to do.
Right.
But I mean, now did that come easy? Did
No.
you? I mean,
Yeah.
Because I know everyone is like, well, how did she figure this out? And
Yes.
how could you explain to someone who wears many hats, or
I
maybe
think,
not? How
yes.
could you? How do you do that?
Really, it is in the quiet times. When
Mm.
you're alone and I write a lot,
Oh,
and it helps me to understand who I am
wow.
and to understand, what it is that I want to see. And a lot of times, what I want to see is so beyond me, and it reaches so many people. And I just know that that's God.
Right.
And so when I think about, all the elements that makes me me,
Mm-hmm.
is all entwined with my business, and it's all entwined with my purpose. It's all entwined with, educating, empowering, and motivating people.
Wow. Wow. So you said all of the elements that makes me me.
Yes.
Some people will say, I have a lot of elements.
Yes.
And they will say, well, one is less important than the other. I mean, can you really say that?
I think that they are, I wouldn't say that. I think that they all are important,
Mm,
because a lot of times it's like a muscle.
mm,
Sometimes you haven't really exercised that muscle yet. Not saying that you don't need it right now.
right,
There's times when I look at, where I'm going, things that I'm doing,
right.
didn't realize, me being a leader, me
Mm.
being being in the forefront. For me, it was always, I always want to be in the back pushing. But I felt that God has already trained me that
Mm-hmm.
way,
Mm-hmm.
because as I look at my childhood, being a leader has always been within me. I was the oldest, so guess what? My
Wow.
sister and brother they were tagging behind, looking at me, watching me, and so therefore I think that all the things that you are, He has trained you all this time along.
Mm,
And a lot of times we're not paying attention.
mm.
We're not taking the time.
Oh,
We
like
just
you just had a quiet time this week, huh? So
Yes, I did.
with your
Yes.
little fender bender.
Yes, I did.
so, so even the great Vonnie Judge sometimes have to be forced into quiet time.
Yes.
I'm just, I'm definitely in awe and I'm in amaze. And I tell you this often, whether we on the air or off, I always tell you how impressed I am. And I know it's not, I'm saying that not because, I'm just trying to, win kudo points or anything like that. But it's just, I think people, when they are doing things above and beyond, they need to be recognized in those areas. And so I definitely appreciate you. And I know the many lives that you've already touched. People really appreciate what you're doing and the platform that you're allowing them to do, because like you said, you're a builder,
Mhm.
and sometimes the builder, which could also mean the architect,
Mhm.
they don't always have to do the work, but
Right.
they do have to have the vision.
Yes. And I'm thankful for it, because as I know that I have a lot going on, but I'm thankful for all the people that God brings.
Mm.
And I mean, they are so much more smarter than I am. They're so much more equipped than I am. They have a vision that I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see where you're going with that, because it enhances you,
Mm.
and it makes you're able to see even wider.
So you're saying that I want the listeners to really understand that,
Mhm.
because see, if anyone ever followed you, or if, and I know they're lurking, but if they see that you're doing so many things, but you said something so powerful. You said the people that you surround yourself with,
Mhm.
they they're smarter than you.
Yes, absolutely.
You so so in other words, this is what I think a lot of people needs to understand. I think
Mhm.
they're more intimidated about having people who are a little bit more knowledgeable in certain areas,
Mhm.
and you actually are the
I look
opposite.
for them.
You embrace them.
Yes, I do. Because in order for me to be great at what I do,
Mm.
I need to have great people around me.
Wow.
And so it is like they say, like, behind every great man is a
Hmm.
great woman,
Right.
but behind every great team is a great players.
Wow.
And so it is important to know the players and how they work together to get the job done.
Awesome.
So I'm going to take a few minutes of a break. I want to thank my sponsors. It's important that I acknowledge them. And if you are looking for hair care, I'm telling you, M. Stewart Design. I'm telling you, when I go and get my hair done, there is something about how I look once I leave the salon. She's like, Vonnie, you're just a different person. I was like, yeah, I am. Give her a call. Her number is 640-640-2229, 640-2229. And I love M. Stewart Design because right now they have a grand opening intro type pricing where you can get your hair shampoo for $20.
Whoa.
Then you could get your perm done for $30.
With it.
And if you're going to get a sew-in, because girls, yeah, it starts at $75. But if you're the first 5 to call her right now, she has a special offer for those people. So I encourage you to give her a call. Her number is 843-640-2229. M. Stewart Designs. And if you're looking to get your credit and get your credit in check, I am excited to have FES Credit Repair Team. They are so awesome. They're able to get late payments off, charge off, collection calls stopped, foreclosures, as well as bankruptcies. So give them a call right now. Their team, 866-204-4955, 866-204-4955. And once we come back from this break, we're going to have Mr. Carl Smith. He is going to talk about his message of freedom and what freedom means to our country, to us as people. And so I'm excited because with our purpose, who God sets free is free indeed.
All right.
And so I'm excited about this word freedom. We'll be right back after this break.
Oh.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to Judge Radio Show. My name is Vonnie Judge. I'm in studio with Shuvona Spann.
Hello.
Hello. And I wanted to encourage you to reach out to our sponsor, FES Credit Repair Team. They can help you to get your credit repaired, whether you're looking for, if you've been turned down for home loans, refinancing, auto loans, credit cards, or even foreclosures. I encourage you, if you're looking for someone to help you out with your credit needs, give their team a call at 866-204-4955. And also M. Stewart Designs. If you're looking for an opportunity to get your hair done, she has a special offer for the first 5 that calls in. Her number is 843-640-2229. 843-640-2229. As I promised, I have a very special guest, Mr. K. Carl Smith. He is on the line. Can you hear me, Mr.?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And you?
I'm doing wonderful. Would you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Sure. Of course, my name is Kate Carl Smith. I live in Alabama in the greater Birmingham metropolitan area. I'm a former Army officer, and I'm a graduate of a historical black college that I'm proud of. and also I'm the founder and president of the Frederick Douglass Republican movement.
So what does that mean? Because I know you were down here about a few weeks ago in Charleston, and you basically was a part of the movie called The Runaway Slave. Can you let people know about what this means and what is the Frederick Douglass Republican mean?
Sure. Frederick Douglass Republican movement is a grassroots organization, and we are people who believe in the four life-empowering values of Frederick Douglass. Number one, respect for the U.S. Constitution. Number two, respect for life. Number three, we believe in limited government. And four, we believe in personal responsibility. And one of the primary objectives of this movement is to help today's Republican Party recapture its political distinction, because today's Republican Party does not at all resemble the party during Frederick Douglass's time. So through political agitation and activism, we want to agitate these leaders in the Republican Party to get back to where it was in the time of Douglass. So the Frederick Douglass Republican organization, it is not a black membership organization. What I mean by that, to be a Frederick Douglass Republican is not based on one's color, but it's based on one's belief and adherence to those four life-empowering values that I just described. So anybody can become a Frederick Douglass Republican if you believe in those four core principles of Frederick Douglass
I know,
that he used to elevate his life.
One thing I know that our audience, just to be honest, our listeners are mostly Democratic listeners. And so
Sure.
to be a Republican, just to have the word Republican is kind of, it's kind of, I wouldn't say upsetting. It's just one of those things, one of those terms that they are like, okay, that's just like on the other side. So I know when you think about those cores, I think we all can agree with those cores values.
Yeah, I agree. I grew up in a Democrat household.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about our movement, I'm not a recruiter for the Republican Party. A person's political party affiliation is their choice, because we need people in both political parties who have a Frederick Douglass perspective. Now, for me, in my own personal case, the reason why I aligned myself with the Republican Party and more so the Frederick Douglass philosophy, because I did not want to be a part of a political party that was involved in the enslavement of my great great grandfather. I wasn't going to do it, and I'm not going to do it. But at the same time, I got to make sure I do what I can by being politically active to make sure that today's Republican Party gets back to its core principles. Number one, where it's defended the Constitution, and number two, where it made the plight of the poor and the working poor a legislative priority. Not in terms of keeping the poor on entitlements, but to elevate the poor, to help the poor become employees and entrepreneurs. And that's what we got to do. That's what this move is all about, is to get this Republican Party back to where it was at the time of Douglass.
Mr. Smith, hi. I really appreciate you being on the call with us today. My name is Shuvona Spann. I'm the newest co-host here with Miss Vonnie Judge, and I definitely can speak for everyone here. And we really thank you for being here with us today to give us your side, especially with this new movement. You guys are, well, not new, but just to shed some light on it. Now, in your own words, we just had this we're in this holiday right now of independence and freedom. What would you actually define freedom in today's society as? What could you, speaking, whether you want to speak through the Republican side, but what would freedom actually be defined as to you this day?
Freedom would be the liberty to live a life that's appropriate for me and my family in terms of my worship, in terms of being able to travel in this country, unlike my parents and my grandparents who were hindered by policies that was put out in this country. That I'm talking about segregation policies. And I guess I put it this way. I guess my father said it best. He said to me, "Son, we are as free as we're going to be. The rest of it we have to buy." And so, and what we're doing too, we want to encourage to break this cycle of poverty that's in our community. We advocate the Frederick Douglass entrepreneurship model to encourage people to excel and become entrepreneurs, and not to be satisfied with the idea of being looking at the government as your source, look at the God as your source, who will provide for you and help you discover your God-given gifts. And you turn those gifts into a profession.
Wow.
And then that's what Douglass did. A lot of people don't know this. Douglass, of course, he was a slave for 20 years. He escaped from slavery. He escaped from slavery in 1838. But when he passed away, Douglass had $300,000 in savings. So when you really think about it, on the plantation, slave masters taking care of him, slave master run health care, slave master entitlement, slave master took care of his food, and Douglass shelter and clothing. And I guess Governor Romney would say Douglass was a 47%er. But because he discovered his God-given gifts and talents, Frederick Douglass, before he died, became a 1%er because $300,000 back then is equivalent to more than $10 million today.
Wow.
So we share this Douglass success strategy with people that success is not a secret. Success is a system. And we allow Douglass success through his system so it can be repeated by and be emulated by people of all ethnicities.
I think everything that you just said is something that I truly do believe, regardless of the title or the category. I do believe that most people, we are designed to be entrepreneurs. I think that it is something that I think we all have. God has given us all gifts, whether it's one, whether it's seven. I think He has given us these gifts to be free. And so when I hear what you're saying, it's important that it's not a party that I'm trying to promote. I'm more so promoting the message that regardless of the party, that, we have a choice to be free. And that at this point, we have a choice also to look beyond just a system and how things are given to us, and that we can change it. And it's powerful that we have the right to vote. So we need to exercise it regardless of what party we're in and be mindful.
Exactly right. And one of the things I've learned over the years that your party affiliation is not the most important thing. Mm-hmm. What matters most is not the party you belong to, but the way in which you vote. Does it represent and show your faithfulness to the God that you say you serve? Mm-hmm. In other words, the way I vote should be a leading indicator of the values I possess. As a Christian, I should vote my values without compromise. And that's something I wasn't doing. And so God put me in check and told me basically I was a political schizophrenic, because through my vote, I was spitting in his face. And of course, I wouldn't do that intentionally, but if I'm doing that, there's something wrong with me, and I had to do some soul searching.
Wow. Well, I am truly impressed, and I was very thankful when I met you, just to hear your message. If you're interested in, being on air with us, our telephone number is 843-308-9564, 843-308-9564. And if they need to get in contact with you, how can they research and and reach out to you?
The website is Frederick Douglass Republican. And don't forget now, it's Frederick. And Douglas spelled his last name with two S's. So it's Frederick Douglass Republican, singular on Republican.com or .org. Wow. Again, Frederick Douglass Republican.com or .org. That's the best way to reach us.
Okay. As we are about to wrap up for the next few minutes, what is your message with the movie Runaway Slave? To me, this title is it says it all. But
the message of the movie, or my message person in the movie.
The message in the movie.
It's just to inform people of the facts of history. Number one, a lot of, especially the black community, they don't know, because I did not know the true history of my oppression. I grew up in Alabama, and I thought George Wallace was Republican. I believe that Bull Connor was Republican. I believe the KKK was started by Republicans. And the people who bombed 16th Street Baptist Church were Republicans, when in fact they were not. They were all Democrats. And so it's just to share with people, to inform them, truth is what's going to set you free. And if you don't know the truth about your own history and your own oppression in this country, you'll never be free. And so it is not to beat somebody over the head and beat them into submission, but just share truth with them and leave them alone, and let the people decide what they're going to accept and what not accept. But at least give them the truth. Let me give you an example. Most folks realize that for the entire 19th century, the 1800s, the Democrat Party was anti-black, anti-civil rights. They started the KKK during that period. That was time Douglass was alive, and Douglass wrote about these things. So, but if you go to the Democrat Party's website right now, on the homepage, there's an About link, then there's a sublink, Our History. And on that page it says, on Our History, for more than 200 years, we have led the fight for civil rights. That's a bold-faced lie.
Wow.
And so, and that's kind of this information I was getting as a young man, because 200 years ago, that's 1813. 1813, slavery was alive and well back then. The slave masters were Democrats.
I
so
know.
That's the kind of truth that's not being given out to our people. That's why we've been so deceived.
I know that there's a lot of history. I encourage you to go to the website. I thank you so much for being here with us, being in Charleston, and just sharing your message. And like I said, what is that website one more time, so that way they can visit?
It's Frederick Douglass Republican.com or .org. And Vinny, I want to thank you for an opportunity to be on your show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I know I will be hearing from you soon. So God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.
God bless you, and God bless your audience.
All right. Thank you so much. And I would just want to thank again everyone for listening, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican. My goal here is not to sway you one way or the other, but it's just to enlighten you. Everyone has a message. I told someone who's running for state for the Senate seat, I was like, the platforms that I have is to have a message. The message may not be my message, but there's a message to be heard. And it's important that in order to be empowered and in order to be relevant, to be inspired, you have to know both sides. And so I'm excited about being here today, bringing you information to keep you in the know. And I thank you here so much, Ms. Shuvona. we made it through.
Yes, we did. We did, as always. I'm just excited again, to be here. And, we talked about purpose in the beginning. Then we got a little bit about freedom and then a little faith. And I was watching last night The Passion of the Christ, and there was a portion of that movie where, the Pharisees, when Christ was on the cross, and they said, come down from the cross if you say who you say you are, so we can see, and then we will believe. But that's wrong. We don't have to. Seeing is not believing. We have to believe first, and then we will see. And so I believe when we have our purpose, we're free to walk in faith.
Amen, sister. God bless you. Have a great weekend.
All right.